Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You know, I was gonna do those goremongers this week, but I forgot that I had this last warband for Trench Crusade, and that would be the Black Grail. These guys are the nasty of the nasties, right? These are kind of like the what do you call those? The 40k guys. Oh god, I can't even think of them right now. God, Nurgle, right? There it is. God, yeah, Nurgle. These guys are the Nurgle version, but these are guys that have just sinned and been twisted. And anyway, you'll see in a second. I'll read a little bit about it, but man, nasty. This is probably the grossest one. This, you know, the Black Grail, the Black Plague, things like that. So you'll see in just a second. Just brutal stuff. These guys are nasty. And what I did is I just did the basic, or I'm doing the basic guys, like the main, you know, the fodder or your troopers. And then I still have, let's see, I've got what's his name? He's the Plague Knight. I still have him to do. He's the head of the warband. And then I've got these corpse guards, and that would finish off the war. This guy's got a spider next to his head. Check that out. I don't know if you can see that. Nasty. These are nasty. I may end up doing these next week. I'm not sure, but I do want to get to those goremongers, and I do have some other things I need to get to. My pile is about this high. It's crazy. It's just it's massive, right? It's just everywhere. I've got stuff here. I've got stuff. I got a project over here, project over there. This is how it goes. And you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys totally know. Anyway, guys, please like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. I'll see you guys in there. Alright, here we go. Grail Thralls and a Grail Hound. Man, these guys are the nasty of the nasty, right? Alright, let's see. The boons of the Black Grail lead slowly but surely down the path of utter corruption. Only very few of the chosen can withstand the blessings of the Lord of Flies. Most are turned into Grail Thralls and join the endless legions of empty, hollowed out and diseased husks who must obey the whims of the Black Grail nobles, all for all eternity, while suffering the torment of their countless supernatural infections. Thralls come from two varieties: Grail Thralls that have become the most impervious to pain, and Fly Thralls, controlled by the gargantuan hell flies that have buried their prosthetic deep into the central nervous system of their victims, allowing far greater mobility in exchange for less resistance to pain. Nasty. That's this guy right here. Right there. He's got that nasty bug popping out of his front top torso. These guys are sick. These guys remind me of Plague Marines from Warhammer, but these are nastier. These are very gross. Anyway, there we go. That's the lore. What we're going to do here is I'm going to do a base of a bright yellow, a bright shadow flesh. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to use the airbrush on these four right here, and then I'm actually going to do a stippling with this one. So you can show. So I want to show you can do the same thing, you know, with an airbrush that you can with a stippling brush or a dry brush or whatever have you. So this is for the people who don't have an airbrush, but I'm going to do these guys in airbrush. I really want to see what they look like with the gradients and stuff. So we'll start off with, what is it there, bright shadow flesh. All right, let's do it. Alright, there we go. We got the base color of the bright, I think it's bright warm flesh, no, bright shadow flesh over these guys. Just a quick coat. You saw what I did. Just pop the airbrush a little bit and got it on there, and it's a really kind of a darky flesh tone. I really like that. That's really nice. Okay, so we're gonna finish these up with the airbrush, but what we're gonna do now is we're gonna introduce the peach flesh into the bright flesh to lighten it up a little bit, and we're gonna spray the tops. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Alright, there we go. We got the second mid-tone down with the bright shadow flesh and the peach flesh. We mixed those two together, and we got a little bit of grading. It's probably really difficult to see on camera. I do apologize about that. But these light kind of drown these out. But you can see they're really starting to shape up. The airbrush is just terrific. I really love the airbrush. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take, let's see, I think I'll take some of this pale pink, and I'm just going to spot the top areas, so when I put the wash on, it'll really make it blend together. Alright, let's do it. Let's recap. We started with bright yellow flesh for a base, then we added a little bit of peach flesh to the bright shadow flesh to give a quick mid-tone in the airbrush, and then we took pale pink and we sprayed that on the high areas, just a little areas as you saw, and then I went one step further and I added a little bit of ivory to the pink mix to get a bright top, and I think it's appropriate here. It's probably hard to see on camera. Again, I say that twice. I apologize. It's this white or this flesh color is drowning out. But once I start getting the wash on there and I get some of the details, these guys are really gonna pop. And I think I'm gonna have some green ooze coming out of the stuff, and I think I'll be doing some magenta for the guts and things like that. So and then for this bloat fly, we'll give them a nice little coat of maybe a green and then some red eyes, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, these guys are looking really terrific. Real quick, these models are quick. And you can do all of what I just did with a brush. Here's this last guy here. But what we're going to move on to now is we're going to do this last guy. And we're just going to do a stippling with a dry brush. We're going to get this all over him, and then we're going to do the same route we did with the airbrush, but we're going to mix it with the colors on here, and we'll do that. And it'll probably be a little rougher, but it'll look really close. All right, let's do it. Alright, there we go. We dry brushed or stippled, however you want to call it, all of the color, the same route we did with the airbrush. Let's take a look at one of these guys over here. Right there. You see, this one already looks a little more the part because of the dry brushing. I like it. They're two totally different styles here. Let's zoom out just a little bit. Two totally different styles. I really like this. This one, when the wash gets on this, it's really going to make it pop. This one already seems to pop. And again, you're probably catching a glare on that. And it's just a flesh color. Shoot. Alright, well. So next we are going to, actually I'm going to paint up those bases real quick. As usual, I'm going to paint those bases real quick off camera. It's a umber, dark umber brass for the shells, and a dark silver for the bolts on the panels, and then it's some drab brown and some ivory for the bags. That's it. If you want to see it done, go back to my first few Trench Crusade videos. I do each one of them in the steps real quick. So I'll knock these off camera, and then we will get on to the details. Probably I'll be hitting that wash, maybe? No. Maybe on this guy. Maybe on this guy. But these guys definitely need a wash. He actually, man, he's pretty good as is. That's crazy. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so let's move forward with the bases. All right, let's do it. Alright, I did these guys' eyes, this guy's eyes with some dark silver, and I'll come back later with a little bit of silver and put it in the middle. But instead of giving him red, I was kind of looking at some art that I had. It's over here, and he's got some silver eyes. I like that. That looks nice. I need to clean up just that right there. Okay, so these guys are getting really, really close. We've got the bases done, and now we're working on, you saw I was working on that fly right here. He's pretty much done. I've got the highlights. I used rubber and rubber highlight, and I just used some dark red, and I'll highlight it with a little bit of red once I get to the wash stage. Did the guns. You know, all we have now is the details, right? So this guy, he's got that little pouch. That's going to be like, I haven't decided if I'm going to go with the gore, if I'm going green or red. You know, I really like the green because it's going to give him color, but Trench Crusade's kind of drab, but I just have a hard time not giving it a little color. So I'm going to try green on one of them first, and then, you know, coming out of the, let me dry my brush here. Coming out of the sores here, right here, these guys got sores. I was thinking about having green just kind of oozing out of them. And also, these guys right here, they've got some guts, and we're going to do magenta, dark magenta and magenta on those, and maybe highlight it with pink just to get them done. Oh, this guy's got some pants. So I'm going to do these pants real quick with rubber, and then rubber highlight. All right, let's do it. Alright, there we go. We got the gore all down. These guys are looking pretty disgusting and terrific at the same time. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in with a little bit of magenta, which I showed you a second ago right there. Magenta and a little bit of the dark magenta for the mid-tone. Kind of just to, I'll show you here. Boom, 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 boom. Just kind of get those, highlight those guts. Real quick, real simple. Maybe even in there. Get inside the pockets, the disgusting pockets, just to give it some color, right? Look at that. Might be hard to see on camera, but all right. So we're gonna do that with the rest of them. All right, let's do it. Alright, real quick off camera, I took some pink and I just kind of highlighted some of these areas right here on his weird whatever this is, and I did some scratches and stuff like that just to give it a little depth. And I did take the same pink and I went back and did some ribs right here. He's got some bones, you know, the pink, and once the wash gets over, it'll look like a white. I fixed up these guts here, and then let's see, scoot over here to this guy. Zoom out a little bit. I did some ribs right here. I did some right there. And I put a little bit, he's got his bone leg. And I got some of these. And I'm going to come back with a little bit of that green. And I'm going to find some spots to put that. So just to give it a little pop, actually. And I think green is appropriate. So I'll use a little bit of, zoom out here. I will use a little bit of let's see, dark yellow green and yellow green, and maybe even a smidge of, where to go, bismuth yellow on the very top to make it just look real pussy. All right, so I'll probably do that. I'm not sure when I'm going to do that. Actually, I should probably go ahead and do that now. I'm just not quite sure where to put it. Maybe on some of these little things, like a little bubble here, a little blister there. I think that'll work. I'm not going to go crazy with it. It's just going to be a little bit subtle, and I may do more on one than I do on the other, just to give you a heads up. All right, let's do it. All right, we're getting super close now. All we need to do now, what next is the wash, and I'm going to use an Agrax Earth for that and do a wash over the general models, and then I'm going to come back with the flesh and do the highlights. So we're pretty much there. You could move these guys as is. I mean, they're a little contrasty. I mean, they need to be dulled down with some shade, obviously. But yeah, I mean, you know what? Oh, here we go. Before I forget, look at these. All right, here's the two. I did this one with the dry brush, and I did this one with the airbrush. You know, there's still, this one's a little more pink than this one, but this one doesn't have the wash yet. And we're getting to that point. We're getting to the point where this model's really going to, all of our work's going to come together because it's going to really pop. All right, so next is the wash for the third time. All right, let's do it. Right here, we're going to do another step. I'm going to put some matte varnish over these guys before I do the wash, because I don't want that wash to activate the paint that we've already done. Sometimes when you put wash on airbrush stuff, it really pulls up, and it pulls that paint up, and it mixes it, and it turns chalky, and it's just bad. So we're going to put this matte varnish on the top of it real quick. I'll do it off camera, but I just wanted to let you know this is a step I do. I'm going to spray all of them just real quick, and then I will start with the wash. All right. All right, we're pretty much done. I went ahead and did the green here and there, and it looks really terrific. My favorite is actually on this Grail Hound. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Doesn't that look pretty gross? Wow, I like that. Did some scratches with some pink and some green and some yellow just to make it pop a little bit. All right, so these guys are ready now for the wash, and I haven't decided which wash. I may go flesh wash or Agrax. I haven't decided. I think the flesh wash might work a little better here, but it leaves a little bit of a gloss, which is I'm not a fan of. But again, I come back with the matte varnish, and I can knock that out. So I'm going to decide in a second which one I'm going to use, because I like the way the Agrax works. Sometimes this can get a little out of hand, but that's not necessarily a bad thing for a Trench Crusade. So anyway, I'll show you in the next clip. After the first one, I'm going to use the Agrax on this dog and kind of see where we land. I'm just going to get it all on there. Yeah, that looks alright. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be clean. That's looking pretty good. Alright, let's get a little more water. Let's try these ribs over here and see what they look like. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, look at that. Nice. Okay. This will work out. Just gotta water it down a little bit so it doesn't stain too much. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and let's get these ribs over here. I'll show you. Boom, look at that. Look at that. Down this leg, right there. Right here. Up top. Yeah. Alright. Now I'm going to do the rest of them. Well, there you have it, guys. Trench Crusade, the Black Grail, Grail Thralls, and a Grail Hound. God, what nasty flesh. These guys are ripped up. You could see you could see the person underneath all of that nastiness. If you look at the models, you can just see the poor soul under all that sickness and plague. And it's just, man, these models, it's just, wow. If you get in there, you really see the stuff. And I believe I pointed out, like, the skull. You can see where it's ripping. You can see his skull right here. And, oh, nasty. One dude's face is all elongated. You can see his regular head over here. Nasty stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing all this Trench Crusade on the table. And I haven't had the opportunity yet, but it's coming. It's coming soon, because we're on the last Warband, and we're going to move forward. I don't have any of the expansions, but I do have a friend, Richard, at Crusader Brewing. He is going to grab me. He's printing out some 40K terrain, like the big cross. I'd like to paint that on the studio, or in the studio on the channel. That would be really fun. But anyway, guys, we have a lot more to go. Like I said, I'm not sure where I'm going to go next week. I got Trench Crusade here, there. You know, maybe the Goremongers. I'm not sure. I need to get on those Goremongers, and I still need to get on that Krieg set. That's. Man, I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know why I'm procrastinating on that. Anyway, guys, I digress. Please like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. And I'll catch you next week. Oh, and I am going to be doing live pretty soon. It'll probably be a Saturday evening is what it looks like for me. Anyway, if that's what's in the comments below, what's best for the guys down there, what's best for you, you know, I'll try to accommodate. But Saturday looks like the day. Anyway, guys, again, thanks a lot. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you next week.